From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. COVID-19 has put a damper on many of the summertime activities that people here in Montana look forward to, but one event that always brings a lot of excitement will still go on here in Billings, but with a few changes. Here's a live look right now from our iCam at Dallas Stadium on this beautiful yet warm Friday night. Opening ceremonies for the 35th annual Big Sky State Games will be getting underway soon. We want to go live to Wendy's Field right now, where Q2's Chris DeRose is standing by to tell us more. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Russ, good evening to you, sir. Yes, it is quite warm out here. I feel as though I am baking a little bit. But hey, it's all good because the opening ceremonies for the Big Sky State Games are going to be taking place here probably about 90 minutes from now. And there's a lot of events that are going to be taking place. They're actually going to have a national anthem being sung by national anthem contest winner Mary Stott. There's a big money giveaway. 5 $100 bills are going to be given away here at the stadium. I know I'm going to want to get in on that. And the Montana Mile, the fastest runners from around Montana, both male and female, they are going to be taking place here on the track. And there's a torch lighting tonight, but that's going to be a little bit different. Liana Susat, the executive director of the games, she told us more just earlier. So take a look at this.
We originally had Sam Schultz slated to be our torchlighter, but we're taking all precautions for the state games. He had called and said he may have been exposed to COVID-19. His girlfriend was coming down with some symptoms. So we're like, well, why don't you just take a break this year and maybe we'll bring you back next year. Deb Greeno, he is an NFR world champion in the saddle brock. So we're really lucky to have him in our back door, and we called on him and he's like, oh, sure, I'll no problem, I'll be there.
Yeah, and we do want to wish Sam and, of course, his girlfriend good health. And big thanks to Deb for stepping in. It will make the event very special tonight to have him here. Also, the games are going to be a little different. Some events have actually been taken out. There's only going to be about 4,000 athletes this year as opposed to 10,000 like there normally are. They're already starting the music out here, so the festivities are underway. But for safety, they're going to ask people to socially distance, stay 6 feet apart. Of course, it is a mask event. All folks are asked to wear their masks here in the stadium, just like I am doing it at any event. So please be aware of that. And even some of the athletes that are going to be competing indoors are also going to be wearing events. For more information, go over to their website, Big Sky State Games. You can find out more. And if you're not feeling well, please just stay at home, you guys. But Russ, I'm going to toss it back to you, and I'm going to try and find who has the 5 $100 bills, because that can make for a really fun weekend. All right, reporting at Dallas Stadium, Chris DeRose, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris. Well, social distancing and extra cleaning, everything there to continue another summer tradition at Metro Park. Tomorrow, Q2's David J. has more on the 10th annual Montana Brews and Barbecue.
We've been doing it for 10 years now, and we wanted to give the community something to look forward to. 2020 has been kind of a year of disappointment for a lot of people. You know, a lot of things being canceled and postponed, and we came together and said, hey, you know, with all the things we do, we're locally minded. How can we provide a fun atmosphere for the public and a fun event that'll keep them safe and give them something to look forward to?
Bo Hadeen and the Brews and Barbecue crew set up for the big event.
I think it's actually going to work really well. One of those things that afterwards you go, wow, why have we been doing this the entire time? We took everything and we spread it way out. The food vendors are spread out. The beer is spread way out.
This year's Brews and Barbecue will be all over the Piazza Plaza, and they tell us it's about double the amount of area that they normally have, and they worked all this out with both Riverstone Health and Metro Park.
They oversaw an entire COVID mitigation plan to make sure that we are keeping the public safe and healthy out here.
Cleaning is a big part of the plan.
Non-stop cleaning, non-stop sanitizing, and on top of that, they're using very specific cleaners that have been approved, and the staff have been trained specifically to do that.
The event is outside and like a bar and restaurant, so masks are optional.
You maybe have a big old brisket sandwich in your hand and you have an ice cold craft brew in your hand, and if you have a mask on, it makes it pretty impractical to be able to enjoy that. So what we're asking is for people when they get here, they're more than welcome to take those off or not have them on, enjoy them, and then of course when they go throughout Billings to maintain maintain all those CDC guidelines.
And they put what's needed in place to hold the event.
We naturally ask that everyone abides by the CDC guidelines. We want the event to be safe. We want it to continue to thrive and to have a safe time so we can continue doing it year after year.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
All right, thank you, David. Well, the number of beers is down from 90 to 56 this year. Also, the event is limited to 2,500 people over a 9-hour period. We've also learned that this year's Last Chance Stampede and Fair at Lewis and Clark County Fairgrounds has been canceled. This has been a staple in the Helena community for 60 years and was scheduled to go on until just recently. Well, the state is reporting 2 more COVID deaths tonight, the latest at a Billings long-term care facility. A woman in her 90s passed away at Canyon Creek Memory Care yesterday. She's the 10th person who's died from that facility and the 15th here in Yellowstone County. There have been 37 deaths across the state now. The second death reported by the state today, we told you about yesterday, the Lewis and Clark County resident who passed away. That individual was the first Lewis and Clark County resident to die of a COVID-related illness. Today, the state confirmed 137 new positive cases. Today, there are just over 1,100 active cases and 45 people are hospitalized. More than half of the hospitalizations are here in Yellowstone County. In Wyoming, the number of deaths climbed to 24 yesterday. A Fremont County man died in the hospital while battling COVID-19. He did have pre-existing conditions, making him more vulnerable to the virus. Total lab confirmed cases is approaching the 1,700 mark now. Well, 200 wildfire personnel from multiple federal, state, and local agencies are continuing to work on containing the Niebuhr fire. That's happening near Worland, Wyoming. That fire has now burned more than 17,600 acres of land 7 miles south of Worland. The fire began on Tuesday around 5 o'clock on private property and Bureau of Land Management lands. The fire was less active yesterday, but the ongoing warming and drying trends remain a concern for firefighters. The Niebuhr fire is threatening critical sage-grouse habitats and other active grazing permit areas. That fire is now only about 30% contained, and the cause of the fire still unknown. Also, if you've looked to the sky over the last couple of days, you may have noticed some large air tankers and single-engine air tankers flying in and out of Billings. They've been supporting that fire south of Worland. All right, turning to Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire. And Bob, you're tracking another source of ignition. It's those dry thunderstorms.
Oh, yeah, they're getting pretty close to us. Let me show you. We go to the Doppler radar right now, and as you can see, they're just north of Billings right now, and they're continuing to push their way from the southwest to the northeast, but that's a big line. It's basically a cold front right there, and that whole cold front is forecast to push its way past the Billings area later tonight. Now, obviously, behind that, we will see some cooler temperatures, but here's the way things will shake up about, I think, maybe about 6:30 tonight. Could see some showers and thunderstorms moving again into Muscle County near Roundup, and then those will continue to track their way in towards Sydney and then Miles City by tomorrow morning. But I think by tomorrow morning, by 5 o'clock, this stuff is all gone from us, and then the whole thing just kind of moves out of here. You'll see mostly sunny skies on Saturday, but then there is still this. We still have fire weather warnings or red flag warnings for the southwestern Montana and also northeastern Wyoming. All of that stays with us till 8 o'clock tonight. Dry thunderstorms, high winds, low humidities could cause some erratic fire behavior. We'll have more in your forecast in a few more minutes, Russ.
All right, thank you, Bob. This week, the state of Montana mandated the wearing of face masks in counties with 4 or more COVID-19 cases to help reduce the spread of the virus, an action that has been both applauded and condemned. MTN's John Riley has more on the science behind using a face covering to prevent the spread of disease.
The CDC, Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services, and every major hospital in Montana has called upon people to wear masks to reduce the spread of COVID-19, even before the governor's mandate. This week, President Trump was seen wearing a mask, and the First Lady has called upon Americans to wear masks.
Nothing's foolproof, but what we're doing is putting another prevention measure in to decrease the spread of this disease.
The most current data indicates COVID is most commonly transferred through respiratory droplets.
Masks work as a barrier, and every time we cough, sneeze, but even speaking, the mask helps keep droplets from going as far.
I decided to put that to a test. First, I placed a candle about 2 feet away and breathed normally, which caused the flame to flicker. While wearing a cloth mask, I couldn't get the flame to move, even when blowing at it. I also used some window cleaner to simulate a cough or sneeze onto a piece of paper. No mask, the paper got wet. With a mask, it was dry. I even tried it with a knitted mask and a bandana a few inches away, which showed they helped capture the droplets. Dr. Holzman says we now know COVID-infected people can have a high virus load even when not showing symptoms. Viruses are incredibly small, but they have trouble surviving outside a house, and masks help catch them.
We can make a difference. We really can. And I know there's a lot of political debate, and there's a lot of things that I'm probably not going to convince a person one way or the other. We have known ways that we can do something about it right now and could decrease the amount of suffering that's happening in our country for people who are getting this, to the deaths, to the suffering that's happening to the economy.
Well, there are some people, such as those with severe asthma, who can't wear a face covering. Health experts say that's all the more reason for others to wear a mask to help protect them. Up next, we go back in time to when the Spanish flu hit Montana and what we can all learn from that outbreak. And later in sports, with more and more uncertainty on the horizon, we look at just what a canceled football season would do to the Grizz athletic department.